Good evening, everyone. Dirk Knudsen, Dirk Knudsen Real Estate on Main, HillsboroHerald.com editor and founder, and president of the Historical Society here in Hillsboro. And here we are at 230 Northeast 2nd Avenue. This is the Zula Warren Linklater House. Now, it was built in 1923, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But let's start off by letting you know that Zula Warren was born in 1870 in Hillsboro, and her family owned a farm at 10th and Main. Hard to think about 10th and Main with all that busy traffic and thinking about that being a farm, but think about those big oak trees on Main as you come into town, or as you're leaving town, right at Cornell, 10th and Main, where they all meet. Those oak trees were planted by her dad, Edward, and she grew up there with her mom and dad, Edward and Ruth. When she was 28, Zula married Samuel Towers Linklater, one of our most prominent docs in Hillsboro. And so that was 1898 when they got married. The couple proceeded to establish themselves in Hillsboro and beyond. The doc became mayor for a term. They had 6 kids between 1899 and 1911, all rooted in our community here in Hillsboro. Unfortunately, in 1914, Dr. Linklater was hit by a train on his way home from a medical call. We didn't have a hospital in those days, so all of our docks were typical country town docks. That brought their marriage to an end. So Zula and the 6 kids dug in and made their way in the world. So in 1922, the Linklater's daughter Ruth started telling her mom that the family needed to have a forever home, and that would be a house that would last forever. Dr. Linklater had left them quite a bit of land, and the land here at 2nd and Lincoln, just near Lincoln, next to the Carnegie Library where Shun is at, the famous sushi bar now. Zula said, well, let's do it. So they built a concrete home, one of the first and only of its kind, that featured horizontal and vertical cement walls. This was a forever house. So the family moved in 1923 and established themselves here. Of course, they were involved, she was involved in everything going on in Hillsboro. It's a beautiful home. Zula died in 1930. And her son Ken got the property out of the estate. While she was alive, Zula was a member of Eastern Star, the Pythians. She served as an organist and church leader at the Congregational Church. Like a lot of wives back then, they found their strength and their power through the raising of children and participating in so many civic organizations like she did. After 1930, Ken kept it for a while, then he rented it, and the Linklaters retained ownership for 60 years till 1983 when the property was sold. Local builder, investor, developer Gene Zerbrugg bought it and created the enclave here that is now known as Linklater Commons. This was kind of the start of taking historic buildings that were homes, grand homes, many of them, and making them into, commercial use. There's some doctors here now, other consultants and such work here, so close to our downtown core, right a part of it, a big part of it. And then Zula left her own legacy. Her kids left quite a legacy. The Warren family left a legacy, and I think it's worth noting that Kenneth, her son, he married Jean Latourette. Some people call them the Latourettes, the Latourettes. And they were local people as well. The reason we mention them is Earl C. Latourette was a big-time judge in the courts. Oregon Supreme Court, I believe, was his station. So the more you know, the more you appreciate our town and its history. A lot of people didn't know about the Linklaters or the Warrens. And so There you go. There's a quick history in the community. Dirk Knudsen with you. We'll keep these coming as time allows, and thanks so much for coming out and having a look with us tonight.